Today's episode is sponsored by Dynasty Athletic Performance and NC Football Connections.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All-Season 365 podcast. Ultimate goal here is to connect with as many coaches as possible. Be sure to follow us on X, Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spotify channel, and now Apple Podcast channels. Our ultimate goal here is to connect with as many coaches as possible, not just here in North Carolina, but across the country. Today, we have a special guest. We have Coach Sheppard, head football coach at Concord High School in Concord, North Carolina. He has stepped away from his track meet. Well, he just completed track meet to hop on and talk a little bit of ball with us. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Coach, man. Appreciate you for making time. And for those who don't know, Coach is, he's taking classes. He's a very busy man. So for him to hop on and talk to us a little bit is a great thing. So before we get to today's topic, where we're going to be talking about a little bit of defense, a little bit of culture, give our listeners a quick snapshot of your coaching journey up until this point.
Yeah, so Rook, I played college football at Avery University. Graduated in 2014. Moved to Charlotte area in Gaston County in 2015. My actually first coaching job was head football coach at Highland Tech.
Nice.
Instantly enough, job came open. Previous guy resigned. I actually wasn't picked for the job. The guy that was picked declined it. So they came to me. I was 21, about to turn 22, and the previous coach that had resigned came back. It kind of came on as like a advisory coach for me. He stayed in that head coach role so I can learn under him while getting pretty much all of the reins. But he really helped me out that first year, kind of protecting me a little bit and getting me ready for what I was enduring. And then in 2018, took a job as a DB coach because I got a teaching job in Cleveland County.
Nice.
So I coached at Shelby. Was there 2 springs, 1 fall. We won a state championship in 2018. And then I got a defensive coordinator job and PE job at Hickory Ridge under Coach Jupiter Wilson.
Nice.
Stayed there for 3 years. We won a conference championship in 21. And then this job came open in the spring of 22, where I got the head coaching job, and I've been here since 2022.
Congratulations on that, Coach. And that's a great example of climbing the coaching ranks, starting off where your feet are where you're doing a good job at the place that you're at, and just chopping away and learning and capitalizing. And kudos to you for your climb.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And no problem at all. So, Coach, let's get to this defense and talk a little bit. I always love talking this. Even as an offensive coach, I believe that championship defense is where it started at. So, in your opinion, what are the core principles your defense is built
on? Since I've been starting, I think the first thing is you have to understand where to line up, and you have to understand that numbers and gaps are everything.
Yes.
It really doesn't matter whether you're an odd front or an even front. If you don't know how to have numbers on either side of the center, strength side, weak side, 2 tight ends. If you don't have your first level line of scrimmage taken care of gap wise, and your second level line of scrimmage gap wise, it really doesn't matter. I've been a part of all defenses. I've been a part of 4-3, 4-2-5, 3-4, 3-3-5. Seen it all in a short period of time. This is my 11 years. So, defensive football starts there. To me, the second thing is pursuing to the football.
There you go.
And pursuing to the football is an attitude. There are, in my opinion, special places where the culture and the environment of the kid takes care of that to an extent. But for the most part, it's got to be trained.
Yes.
And kids have to be trained on the importance of running to the ball and getting as many hats there as possible. And the third thing is tackling. I think too many times as coordinators, we think a lot about how we're stopping this, how we're lining up this and all that. But if you don't work on tackling, you don't have a shot. And I know as a DB coach, when I was at Shelby and even at Hickory Ridge, I don't coach a position group here, but when I make the practice plan, 2 periods of your end, you're going to have tackles in it.
Have to.
And we're going to do a circuit once a week. I believe, a lot of people don't believe in this, but I think I heard a guy at a clinic one time. He talked about how his D line coach, his linebacker coach, and his DB coach all were involved in the tackling circuit, right? So when the DBs understand that's important from the D line coach. The DBs also understand it from the linebacker's perspective. I see him every day, right? But there's something that coach brings differently to the table that he can give to our players so that they're able to go to the game and be equipped with tools on how to get guys to the ground. I think those are the three most important things about defense.
And you brought up a good point about the different lens. So still coaching tackling, but a different lens. As you know, there's different tools that's required in the line. There's different tools that's required at the mid level, the linebackers, and then there's different tools in the secondary. How you get your guy to the ground. At the end of the day, you want to get them to the ground. But because of the positions that the defenders are playing, like playing in
Right,
lines, obviously there's bodies everywhere. So
right,
sometimes, hey, you just gotta get them on the ground, right? So
right.
that approach is very unique, and I'm pretty sure coaches that's listening to this is going to probably pick your brain about what that
Yeah.
looks like.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. So how do you teach? So how do you teach communication and alignment? Because as you know, without alignment, it doesn't matter. But how do you teach
Mhm.
communication and alignment to ensure consistency on defense?
I think when I was a coordinator, I thought something I learned when I was at Shelby under Coach Ware, everything was very compartmentalized, right?
Mm,
So you had when we would go to film, everybody had a job, right?
yes.
So we had the coordinator, and he was doing run fits,
Hmm.
right? While the D line coach was charting run plays
Hmm.
and percentages of run plays and what did they do, or the were the strong side run, weak side run, did they run counter, did they run GT counter, if they
Hmm.
did, how important is it to them? We had
Hmm.
another coach that was in charge of the max preps roster, finding out kids
Hmm.
what they were and what
Hmm.
they how big they were. By the time we got to the DBs, I had all pass games, so I would do, I'd look at their number one pass concepts, then their number two pass concepts, the number three pass concepts if they threw the ball a lot. And then I'd design what we were going to do individually off of that. And then it would help get our kids ready. And then I had another DB coach that would spend time on the personnel and all those types of things. So that now when at the end of doing all that, our DC could have all this data on how
Yes.
he wanted to best, what I'm
Hmm.
saying, pursue the week of game planning. And
Hmm.
that was the best thing I've ever seen. Only I mean
Hmm.
I was only there a year, but it was phenomenal. They probably get mad at me if they hear this trade secrets, but that's why Shelby's as good as they are, man. The coaches are
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Well,
Um,
well, 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 clear. It sounds to me like roles were clearly defined, so there's no gray
Absolutely.
area. So everyone knows what they need to do, and if you
Yes.
know what you need to do, you can maximize the output. It just
Yes.
sounds like efficiency, and
Yes.
that's again they win all the time. But talent obviously, but efficiency is also equally important.
Absolutely, and that's what I took from over there when I got a D coordinator opportunity. My linebacker coach was in charge of blitzes. My D line coach was in charge of stunts, and he also took care of, what run plays they ran the most and all that type of stuff. And then I really much handled the formations and the coverages that we were going to do during the week. And then here now, I have that same level of role defining, and
Excellent.
it makes us aligned. This is one of the reasons at least my staff defensively has been intact all 5 years I've been here. So it's been really good.
Excellent, excellent, nicely stated. As culture, let's talk about that as well. How do you define your program's culture, and how is it reinforced daily?
Yeah. So the culture for me, we have everybody has slogans, right?
Right.
So for us is we before me.
Mm,
That's our thing here. It's all over our locker room and our door before we go out. But we embody that by really, really honing in on the team aspect.
mm,
I think for us, I'll give you an example. We in the off season, most people have a point chart list and all those type of things. And I
Mm,
actually got this from the guy that used to be coach of Bishop McGinnis. He
mm,
started Oak Grove, right? So
yep.
when we look at our investment order list, you get points for being a returner, you get points for doing
Mm,
second sport, third sport, spring and
love it.
summer lifting attendance, grades, fundraising, and community service. All that's accounted for, right? Um, that list, once it's finalized, we do a point total in the spring,
Mm.
and that decides what helmet you get, shoulder pads you get, locker you get in the spring.
Here we
You
go.
only get one opportunity. You only get a
Ooh.
summer
Mm.
to move on that list,
Oh
really through
man.
your attendance and any community service we do when
Oh
it comes
man.
time for jersey numbers, right?
Mm, mm.
But the thing that doesn't stop there is what kids have realized with me and with how we run things here. It's everything.
Everything.
If we have shirts that come in, I go off that list.
Mm.
If we eat pregame meal, I've been a lot of places, seniors, juniors, and all that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
If
Uh-huh.
a sophomore, like I had a sophomore number 3 on the list last year, he eats
Eat
third.
first.
Yeah,
Right, man. Yeah,
you
you're at the
know,
top. Yeah.
yeah,
I
because
like that.
after doing this for 4 years, you tend to realize you're gonna have a solid football team
Oh yeah.
if your best players are at the top.
There you
And
go.
if your best players are at the top, then that means that you got a shot. And for
Mm.
us, you know, that's that's a snapshot into how we do things here. And we'll lose a player or two here along the way.
Right, right.
That's not the goal.
Mm-hmm.
But what it does allow for us to have is I'm not out there trying to get our best football player to adhere to a standard. So we've been very blessed with that here.
Love it, love it, love it, coach. And before I let you go, what advice would you give an assistant coach who wants to become a head football coach?
Best advice I can give them, and it's a cliche, but be the head coach of what you're doing.
Yes.
And I'll be as quick as I can. I know I'm running over the time limit,
Oh
but
no, no, you good,
when
man.
when I was a DB coach under that structure, I had the secondary. So for
Mm,
me, when I did grade checks,
mm-hmm,
um, if the punishment was laps,
mm,
they did hills.
mm.
you know, um, if the standard was no failing classes, my standard was nothing higher than a C.
Ooh,
Um, I just really tried to maintain order and being the head coach in that
there
role
you go.
underneath
Mm,
what the head coach wanted, right?
mm,
So then when I became a coordinator, it was on a bigger scale.
mm-hmm,
And when I got the weight room my last year, where we were blessed enough to have 2 weight rooms at Avery Ridge, and I lifted the defense, and I got the opportunity to do that. I did it in a way that fit what our defensive culture was going to be, so that when I got a head coaching job, I was prepared because I'd been like when I got a big head coaching job.
mm-hmm,
Holland Tech was a 1A program. I love my time there. 1A program, only 35 kids on the team. But when I got this opportunity in a bigger school, I was way more prepared because I had been the head coach in my smaller roles, serving
mm.
the head coach. So that's the best thing I can say is take ownership of your group underneath being aligned with what the head coach wants. And
Love it.
everything will pan out for you when you get your opportunity.
Excellent, man. Nicely stated, coach. Appreciate your insight. We have a lot of coaches all the time asking that question. I said, hey, man, we're going to ask the person that's in that role, man. So
Mhm.
appreciate you for making that clear, concise response accessible to everyone.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me again. Thank you.
Not a problem, coach. Well, thank you for listening to the Offseason 365 podcast. I'm Coach Simmons here with Coach Sheppard. Man, we signing off.
All right.
Today's episode is sponsored by Dynasty Athletic Performance and NC Football Connections.